I'm Charlie. I'm from the radio show Good Grief, and you're tuned into Tiny.3 The Core. I'm here with the legendary New Brunswick DIY musician, AJ Stanley, also known as Daddy's Closet. And today we're going to talk about the history of Littlest Pet Shops. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. But maybe. Who knows? So, where are you from? And how old are you? And what's the lore behind you as a person?
Thanks. Thank you, Charlie. Glad to be here. I am AJ. I'm 20 years old. I turned 20 in January. So I'm not like old 20. I'm like young 20. Yeah, fresh 20. I'm from Howell, New Jersey. So sorry. I'm from Howell, New Jersey, which is in Monmouth County. It's over by like the beach kind of, 15 minutes. And I just played some songs for you guys, and it was really swell. I enjoyed it.
I also really enjoyed it. I've seen you perform in many basements, but seeing you here with just the guitar and singing, I got pretty emotional. Not gonna lie, I really love your music, and it sounds great. So what is the story behind the name Daddy's Closet?
Thank you. Kind words. So Daddy's Closet, well, initially I was like to my dad, I guess the summer that I was graduating high school, just when I was kind of figuring this stuff out. Maybe it was more so the spring. And I was writing music, and I was like to my dad, I want to have this solo band thing, but I don't know what to call it. And my dad, probably high, was like, Daddy's Closet. And I thought it was badass, and he's like, yo, that's badass. It was like a moment of like genius, I think. So I went with it just because it sounded cool. But as time went on, and I started actually making the music, I was using a lot of his equipment. So this beautiful Hagstrom 12-string guitar is his, and so is the deluxe reverb amp, tube amp, is his. So I would go and I just grab whatever gear I could to make the music I wanted, and it was no shortage of inspiration in that. And he used to do music, so that's where all the gear came from. And we have this barn that we recently renovated, and he would just practice in it with his friends and do all that. And recently we renovated it so that I could also have the space and do all that. So, and also I like the name because like the music is all kind of different genres, and it's all mix and match. It's kind of like a closet, all different varieties. So
I agree. Thank you for sharing your story. That was really cool because I always wondered why you had chosen that name. Weird, right? It is kind of weird, but it feels kind of 90s. Yeah, I don't know.
That was another thing. I really thank you. You just reminded me. Like, it's like Daddy's Closet. Like, it sounds like some kind of weird kinky thing, but it's really not. But I also kind of like that because it like makes you question it. It's like, whoa, what is that? What does that mean? And it makes you kind of curious, which is good for me. So
heck yeah. This is kind of related. So how would you describe your music to someone who has never listened to it before? Like, how would you describe it to an alien or a Littlest Pet Shop creature?
I'm still not really sure because I like will go to a show and people are like, oh, you're playing? And I'm like, yeah, I'm playing. And they're like, what is your music like? And I'm like, yeah. And I usually just say, wait and see. But it is just various mixed genre. And I think like the definition of what kind of music it is, like it changes on like how you kind of perceive the music. So if you go to a show live, like a basement show with all these college kids, and you see me screaming and running around, that's like one whole different interpretation than when you're listening to it on streaming, or here, like you said, you were getting emotional with just me and the guitar. So I feel like it could be a lot of different things for many different people. But to give you a straight and not annoying answer, I guess it's some kind of electronic singer-songwriter, self-produced, vada vada stuff. Rock, punk, jazz, I don't know.
That's so cool. Yeah, I love all of those genres, especially when you put them all together like that in a really unique way. I've never heard anyone make music like you before, so it's so cool. So when did you start making music, and when did you start performing?
I started making music in high school around junior year when I had my first boyfriend. I was so in love, and I wrote a song about it, and the song is called "Oh You." It's this love song. And then in between that, I wrote a couple more demos and ditties and all that. But when I kind of like really, when I wrote Runner's High, I was in a completely different mindset. It's about a different relationship at a different time. And I'd say like Runner's High and kind of getting into the scene more so is when I really became more of Daddy's Closet. And that was really cool. Just when I wrote Runner's High, I was kind of in this bubble, and I had just been thinking all about my mixes, and you kind of get like lost in the sauce a little bit. But then in the summer I shared it and I performed it, and it kind of became something new. So
Cool.
I think that answered the question.
I think so. My question was when you started making music and how you started performing and things like that. So I think you did answer the question. So I was kind of wondering what it was like to make and put out Runner's High. What was the creative process like? Did you wake up and then be like, all right, I'm going to write a song right now? Or like, what's your songwriting process like? Maybe if you want to talk about the kind of equipment that you use or the instruments that you use and things you like to do when you're making music.
Whoa. So making music is, as much as performing is thrilling and awesome, I really just love making music and writing it and producing it. And I kind of just do it all at the same time in Pro Tools. So when I was writing Runner's High, again, I was very much in my bubble, and I kind of kept it that way because I wanted to keep like a certain mindset. And I think I only wrote Runner's High in like 4 months, honestly. So what I do, and flashback to January, or February. January and February were like the most like writing. This is like when I wrote the most. So during that time, I would wake up and be like, what do I have to do today? Oh, not much. I guess I'll do music. So I just kind of sat down in Pro Tools, and if I didn't already have some kind of like demo made, I would go and I'd open the Boom plugin, which is like this drum sequencer, and I'd be like, yo, that beat's hard. I'd make my own. And I put like hella distortion on it sometimes. I'm like, yo, like get it really vibey. The way I kind of start is like I'm trying to get a vibe, and I'm like, yeah, if I like the vibe, then I'll keep going with it. And then sometimes I start with just sometimes I start with the progression. Sometimes on the guitar. Some songs on Runner's High are guitar songs. Some of them are synth keyboard songs that I've figured out the chords on keyboard. Some of them are none, and they're just strictly like Pro Tools beats, and like a song like Slam even is like none of those things, and that's me playing with the with chopping of break beats. I really like that too. So there's a lot of different processes that all kind of happen at the same time and at different times, but I love it. It's really fun, and when I get to write is when I'm most happy, but also when I'm the most sad, because I write a lot from emotion and like things that happen in my life. So Cope was about the first guy, and then Runner's High the second guy, and then this new thing, which is like I'm very excited about, is about the same guy from Runner's High, but it's great because it's like I get to go into this mind space for a little bit, and I really like that bubble, and kind of it helps me cope, and it helps me get through my emotions in a healthy way, and then people like it for some reason, so it's really cool.
Thank you for talking about your process and the emotions and all of that stuff. Um, hmm. I'm wondering which song of yours from anything that you've released is your favorite. And also, I think if my ears are correct, you might have hinted at a new thing in the works, a new album or EP or single or something. If you want to talk about that a little bit, give us the juicy details. That would be awesome. But you don't have to expose your big reveal, your big plan.
My favorite song, it's weird because like I'd write them and then I'd be like, I'd release it. I released Runner's High and I'm like, this one's my favorite, and I tell everyone I'm like, this one's my favorite, or this one I hate this one. But then it kind of changes over time, of course, because I perform it live and maybe there's like a different response. I have to say that live-wise, No Gears is really fun. It's like usually the last song I do, and it's like I always get the audience to kind of participate in that. I think that Boohoo is just like really polarizing to me, and it was really fun to write just like a straight up punk song. And everybody really likes Spot, and I like Spot too, cause it's like weirdly jazzy in a way, but then it's like you could dance to it, and then it's like weird, I'm surprised I pulled off Spot. Oh, and the new stuff, right? Okay. So I had I'm just working on a single of two new songs, and which will probably be out this spring. And this is all I'm gonna say. It's the last thing I'm gonna say the names of them. Oh my god, ready? Okay, so the first song is gonna be called Vertigo. Whoa, I have vertigo. And then the second one is Play Me for a Fool. So I'm very excited for them, and if you like Runner's High, you're gonna like listen to these songs and be like, oh my gosh, F Runner's High, I like these songs. These are crazy. So, there's some essence from that.
I'm very excited now. So one question that I think everybody's dying to know is which Littlest Pet Shop is your favorite, and tell us all about them. Like description, I want to know what their favorite food is. I want to know everything.
This is a grand story, but I'll try to keep it short. My favorite Littlest Pet Shop was a kitty cat. The mold isn't here, but it was a cat. It was a long-haired cat that was sitting, and they were tan, and they had an orange spot right here on their eye, over their eye, and one white ear, and a little tuft of orange hair. And I used that Littlest Pet Shop to represent me in the videos I would make of these things. So I would be like that was like my what do you call it? I don't want to say an OC, but like I would act myself out through this little pet shop. So I would make all these videos with the pet shops and make all these stories, and that, I think, honestly, I'm gonna loop it back here, but that gave me a lot of the skills I have for video making, and I guess even music too, because when I was a kid and I was just playing with these and filming them, I learned iMovie, and I was just having a blast, and they would get hundreds of thousands of views, so it taught me a lot, and eventually that fan base turned into a fan base for my animations, which I would later go on to create. And then, doing the animation, further video work and all that would get me into music. So I have a lot to thank for these guys. I really appreciate them. And I wanted to bring them because of that and because it's funny.
It was a wonderful surprise when you walked in with the bag of Littlest Pet Shops, because as I was talking to you earlier, those were my favorite toys growing up as well. And they would all have their personalities and their little pet peeves and all that stuff. So it was really nice. And I didn't even know that you made videos with the Littlest Pet Shops or animations or stop motion type stuff.
Yeah, I was really into the stop motion thing like when I started, and then I'd be like, no, forget the taking a picture every time. I'll just make a video out of it. When we got a good enough camera to do so.
That makes me wonder. I know that, so over the summer, I think I possibly went to your first show in New Brunswick, and I missed your set, which I'm really upset about. But one of your friends at the time was like, had all these free CDs and was like, oh yeah, my friend Daddy's Closet, like I love them so much, and this isn't even my music, but I really want to promote them and support them, and so you should definitely give their CD a listen, like please take this. And that was your art on there as well, right?
Yeah, so all the CDs and all the covers and, for all the social media and products and shirts and merch, that's all designed by me. And that's why I am going to transfer over to Rutgers, hopefully, to pursue a degree in visual arts. It's not what I want to do for a career, but it will help me do what I want to do, which is music. So.
That's so cool. Yeah. Do you think that's music or making music is the most effective or meaningful way for you to express yourself?
I think so because whenever I'm like really upset, like my first instinct is to just like grab the guitar, Sometimes it's to grab a funny little marker and some paper, but I get a lot of satisfaction out of doing the guitar, and I always kind of beat myself up, but I'm like, guitar is not really like, it's my instrument for sure, but I'm not a guitarist. But honestly, it is something that really does help me express my creative ideas and my emotional ideas. So.
Cool beans. Thank you. Because it's so cool, like, seeing all the different kind of art that you make. And now I really want to look at whatever, I don't know if it was YouTube where you posted your Littlest Pet Shop videos. Oh my god. You have to let me know. Or if you want to let the people know.
We could let the people know.
Okay. What's your YouTube for Littlest Pet Shops? Skizzy.
Skizzie.
Oh my god.
Yeah, all the subscribers are still subscribed. I've told them to leave, told them to go away, but they're still there, and I just, whatever. So.
It's important. It's documentation, the archives.
Yeah.
And now I can watch it, so that's really important. Yeah. I only have a few more questions. I would like to know about your favorite song, and also some artists that inspire you, and any art or music recommendations that you might have.
Like my favorite song ever?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You could do ever. You could do right now. You could
Okay.
do like last night.
Right. I don't think I can name anything specific right now, but I can get into like the artists I've been really digging lately and for a long time. So like my biggest, inspirations, and I'm talking about like life inspirations for not just the music, but how I kind of live and do my thing, is like Tyler, the Creator, is really great, and Mac DeMarco is really great and influential. And like when I first started writing music, I was like listening to a lot of bedroom pop. Like that was kind of like other than being 10 and getting into My Little Pony dubstep and that kind of being like my first kind of music that I listened to on my own other than the radio, like bedroom pop was like kind of the teenage version of that, and kind of figuring like, oh my god, this sounds so beautiful, like what is this chord, oh my god, it's a major 7 chord, what is that? So then I was like, I'm gonna learn this song, and I learned what a major 7 chord was, and then I learned a little bit what jazz was, and I was like, yo. So I'm not gonna pretend that I know everything about jazz, but I do enjoy some classic jazz and jazz fusion, a lot of jazz fusion. I've been really into Rat Grave is really good, a little bit of Cassiopeia. I don't want to butcher his name, but he made the album Brazilian Skies. Takanada, yeah. And he did the Rainbow Goblins album, which I haven't listened to yet, but I've heard so much about. Just like a lot of like hip hop. I really love like Memphis rap, like old, like really like just dirty, disgusting like Memphis rap, like the edgiest stuff, like 3-6 Mafia and all those classic guys. It's really nice. Stevie Wonder, Kuko, and Clara were early inspirations too, of course. Oh, and the Scary Jokes. The Scary Jokes are a New Jersey band, and they released this album called April Fools. And I listened to that a lot in middle school, and honestly, if you listen to Scary Jokes and then you listen to my music, like it was really subconscious. Like I didn't listen to Scary Jokes a lot when I wrote a lot of my music that's out now, but I think subconsciously they influenced me a lot, and our music does sound similar. So they're really great. I don't want to look at my Spotify. I'm just trying to go off the top of my head. So I think I might take a peek. Now that I have your permission, I'm going to do that. Let's see. But I really do love to listen to a lot of different things, and especially like old like electronic, like Aphex Twin, and like old drum and bass and house music and jungle. I really, really like and take a lot of inspiration from. DJ Harrison is a really great jazz slash like kind of lo-fi beat guy. Aquarian Dream is a really good jazz fusion act from a little bit way back. Thundercat and what he's doing with JD and Domi is really cool. I really enjoyed listening to Not Tight. Yeah, it's a really good album. I've been really into this guy called Uku Koot, which makes these kind of like, I guess like weird is the way to put it, harmonically and just like production wise. I love music like that, and Macabre Plaza, where it sounds like it's out of like a 2007 Flash game. You know what I mean? Like it's like this, it's got this weird crunch to it, but just like the way it's composed, and the composition of it and the instrumentation, it's really nostalgic and it's done really well. And just a couple more would probably be like, I really enjoy Naked Eyes, that album, old like classic 80s stuff, and I really like 80s pop, I guess, because that's what's on the radio. I listen to the radio a lot in my car, and I really like I don't mind it. I love to find new things in it, and also listen to classics. You could learn a lot. And just a couple more would probably be Bruno Fernandez. He has this great album called Those Who Throw Objects at... Oh yeah. Great guy. Those who throw objects at the crocodiles will be asked to retrieve them. That's the name of the album. Really great jazz fusion as well. So I'm gonna leave it there. But those are my biggest inspirations, and I really love music. I'm really like, as much as I as much as I am a musician, like I'm a music fan. I think first, it's like I do it because I like music. I love it. I love music. And I love Tyler the Creator. Every album. So good. I wish I could be like as raw and just like honest as him. But then like I listen to Mac DeMarco and it's like he has such a charm. And it's just like crazy how you can get such different output from music. So I take inspiration from a lot of things.
Thank you, though. That was quite a rich explanation. I love music, too. I always think about how there's so much music in the world, and, like, I'm not going to be able to listen to all of it. But now I want to at least listen to all the artists that you mentioned today, because I think you probably have really good taste. And, I mean, and I love the music that you make, so if it is drawing from those inspirations, I'm sure they're really awesome. And like some of them I've heard before, but haven't given a complete listen to. So Leon War. Okay.
He's like a Stevie Wonder type.
Do you think, are there any people in the local scene that you want to shout out, or if you want to talk about what it's like to be a part of the scene in New Brunswick right now, and then we'll wrap things up in a little.
Thank you. Well, I have to say I'm very grateful for the opportunities and people I've met being in the scene since 6 months ago. It's only been 6 months, but I've met so many people, and more often than not, people are very friendly, and I appreciate that. Shout out to everyone who are like they're just somehow like letting these shows happen in their basements, and they're like totally cool with it, and like letting people, go through their house, use the bathroom. Like, shout out to them and their kindness. Shout out to all the photographers who come out, and sometimes you guys just take photos and leave. You don't even get the pay, and I dig that. If you want to get paid, just let me know. Like, shout, just wave at me, because sometimes I don't even see you guys. Okay, you guys like come in, you take a photo, and you leave, and I'm like, yo. And what you guys do is really great. All the musicians, so many different musicians from so many different places, and I think it's really cool that we get like a lot of touring acts here. It's like this is like a spot, to tour, and that's really great for people who don't live here. They can come and see what's happening in our world. And shout out to the Core for having me and having this awesome station and awesome space and awesome everything. And thank you, Charlie.
Love the shout outs. I love that we have a spot on the map, and that New Brunswick is cool, and the Core is cool, that you're cool. And this is my last question, I think. What would you say to someone who is inspired by your music or art? Like, how would you, I don't know, like, would you guide them a little bit? Would you say thanks? What do you think of that prospect of people being inspired by you? Because I'm inspired.
I hate you guys. You're so annoying. I hate my fans. If you feel inspired by me, cool, great, awesome. And if you're writing music inspired by me, that's great too. I'm glad to be a source of that. I'd say, if you're writing music, just write whatever you want. It's like music comes from the heart, and if you're a shitty person, you're gonna write shitty music. So what? Just roll with it. If you're cool, it'll be good. Just see how that plays out. And for me, like, more so just like being in the scene, and I guess like if I were to give like any kind of advice, I guess it would just be to talk to everyone. And you don't have to vibe with everyone. It's cool, but always be open to people and what they offer, because you really don't know where you will end up. So, thank you.
Ahoo! Thanks, Daddy's Closet.
Thanks, Charlie.
Yeah!